Among all Buddhist scriptures, few are as vast and visionary as the Avataṃsaka Sutra, the Flower Ornament Sutra. It presents a universe that is not fragmented, not divided, and not built from isolated parts. Instead, it reveals a reality in which all phenomena interpenetrate one another completely, without obstruction. This teaching may sound abstract at first. We are used to thinking in terms of separation. This is me, that is you, this moment is now, that moment is past. This object is here, that object is there. But the Avataṃsaka Sutra gently invites us to see beyond this habit of division. Today, we will explore one of the most profound and distinctive teachings of this sutra, the interpenetration of all phenomena. What does it mean to say that all things contain each other? How can one moment include all moments and one being reflect all beings? And most importantly, how does this vision transform the way we live, relate, and respond to suffering? Let us enter this teaching slowly, with patience and openness, just as the sutra itself invites us to do. A world without obstruction. The Avataṃsaka Sutra repeatedly speaks of a reality where phenomena do not obstruct one another. In the Hua-yen tradition, based directly on this sutra, this is called non-obstruction. There are different levels of non-obstruction described, but the most profound is the non-obstruction of phenomena with phenomena. Hua-yen tradition, based directly on this sutra, this is called non-obstruction of phenomena with phenomena. But every individual phenomenon fully contains and reflects every other phenomenon. This teaching arises directly from the sutra's vision of reality as perceived by an awakened Buddha. In this vision, there are no fixed boundaries separating things. Boundaries exist only in conceptual thought, not in the true nature of things. Imagine light passing through clear glass. The glass does not block the light. The light does not damage the glass. They interpenetrate without resistance. In the Avataṃsaka vision, all phenomena relate to one another in this way. Indra's net, a classic image of interpenetration. One of the most well-known metaphors used to explain this teaching, drawn from the Avataṃsaka worldview, is Indra's net. Picture an infinite net extending in all directions. At every intersection of the net is a luminous jewel. Each jewel reflects all the other jewels in the net, and within each reflection, all the other jewels appear again, endlessly. No jewel exists alone. No jewel can be removed without affecting the entire net. Each jewel contains the whole net, and the whole net contains each jewel. This image perfectly expresses what the sutra means by interpenetration. Every phenomenon arises in dependence on all others, and at the same time expresses the totality of reality. This is not mere symbolism. It is a way of seeing how existence actually functions when freed from conceptual separation. Dependent origination, seen infinitely. A teaching of interpenetration is not separate from the Buddha's earlier teaching of dependent origination, praticca samutpada. Rather, it is dependent origination seen in its most expansive form. In early Buddhist teachings, dependent origination explains how suffering arises through conditions. Ignorance gives rise to formations, formations to consciousness, and so on. This teaching already shows us that nothing exists independently. The Avataṃsaka Sutra takes this insight further. It shows that conditions are not linear, but infinite and multidirectional. Every phenomenon is both a cause and a result of countless other phenomena across space and time. When you breathe in, that breath depends on trees, oceans, sunlight, ancient forests, and the actions of countless beings. But it also depends on your own thoughts, emotions, posture, and intentions. Your breath contains the entire world, and the world contains your breath. This is interpenetration in lived experience. One is all is one. A key expression of the Avataṃsaka Sutra's vision is the teaching that one is all and all is one. This does not mean that differences disappear or that everything becomes the same. Rather, it means that difference and unity coexist without contradiction. In ordinary thinking, unity cancels diversity, and diversity destroys unity. But the Avataṃsaka Sutra shows us a reality where unity enhances diversity, and diversity expresses unity. Consider a symphony. Each instrument plays its own unique part. The violin is not the flute, and the drum is not the cello. Yet without each instrument, the symphony cannot exist, and the symphony is present in every note. Each note contains the whole piece, because without the whole, that note would not be what it is. In the same way, each being, each moment, each phenomenon is a unique expression of the entire cosmos. Worlds within a single atom. One of the most astonishing descriptions found in the Avataṃsaka Sutra is the idea that countless Buddha lands can be found within a single atom. Likewise, a single Buddha land can contain infinite atoms, each holding further worlds. This is not meant to be taken merely as fantasy. It is a direct expression of interpenetration. From the sutra's perspective, size is not absolute. Large and small are relative to perception. What matters is not physical scale, but relational depth. In modern terms, we can understand this through analogy. A tiny seed contains the potential of a vast tree. A single line of genetic code contains the blueprint for an entire body. A brief childhood experience can shape a lifetime. The Avataṃsaka Sutra invites us to see that reality functions holographically. The whole is present in every part. Time interpenetrates time. Interpenetration applies not only to space, but also to time. The Avataṃsaka Sutra describes past, present, and future as mutually containing one another. This does not deny the flow of time in everyday experience. Instead, it reveals that time is not rigid or one-directional. A thought from the past can arise now and shape the future. A decision made today can echo across generations. A single moment of clarity can dissolve years of confusion. From the Avataṃsaka perspective, every moment contains all moments, just as every phenomenon contains all phenomena. This teaching encourages deep responsibility and deep freedom at the same time. Nothing we do is insignificant, and nothing is permanently fixed. The Bodhisattva, who sees interpenetration, because bodhisattvas perceive interpenetration directly, their compassion is boundless. They do not see beings as separate or unrelated. They see suffering in one place as connected to suffering everywhere. This is why the Avataṃsaka Sutra presents bodhisattvas who appear in countless forms, in countless worlds, simultaneously. This is not because they possess supernatural powers for their own sake, but because interpenetration allows compassion to flow without obstruction. When we understand that helping one being is helping the whole, our motivation naturally expands. Even a small act of kindness becomes immeasurably meaningful. A kind word spoken today resonates far beyond what we can see. Interpenetration in daily life. At this point, the teaching may still feel distant from daily concerns. But interpenetration is not something that exists only in sutras. It is happening constantly. When you speak, your words are shaped by language, culture, education, and past experiences. When someone listens, their response is shaped by their own conditions. Communication itself is interpenetration. When conflict arises, it is never caused by one person alone. It is the meeting of many conditions: fear, misunderstanding, habits, expectations. Seeing this clearly softens blame and opens understanding. Even your sense of self is interpenetrated. Your identity is formed by parents, teachers, friends, society, food, air, and the earth. There is no solid, independent me to defend. This insight echoes the teaching of non-self, anatman, found throughout Buddhist scriptures, but here it is illuminated in a vast relational way. Emptiness makes interpenetration possible. The foundation of interpenetration is emptiness, shunyata. Because things are empty of fixed self-nature, they can interpenetrate freely. If things were solid and independent, they would collide and obstruct one another. But because they are empty, They are fluid, responsive, and interconnected. In the Avataṃsaka Sutra, emptiness is not cold or nihilistic. It is luminous, dynamic, and full of possibility. It is the reason compassion works, the reason wisdom functions, and the reason transformation is possible. This understanding aligns deeply with the Prajnaparamita teachings, but expresses them in a richly symbolic and visionary way. Living without obstruction. To live with the insight of interpenetration is to live with less resistance. We resist when we believe things should be other than they are. We suffer when we cling to fixed views, fixed identities, and fixed outcomes. Seeing interpenetration helps us relax these rigid structures. It allows us to respond rather than react, to understand rather than judge. When difficulties arise, we can ask, what conditions are meeting here? When joy appears, we can ask, how can this joy be shared? This way of living does not remove challenges, but it removes the sense of isolation within them. The Avataṃsaka Sutra offers a vision of reality that is vast, subtle, and profoundly compassionate. The teaching of the interpenetration of all phenomena shows us that nothing exists alone and nothing is without meaning. Each step you take contains the whole path. Each moment you live reflects the entire cosmos. Each being you meet is a doorway to infinite connection. When we begin to see this, even slightly, the world becomes less heavy and more intimate. Life reveals itself not as a collection of separate problems, but as a living tapestry of relationships. May this vision gently reshape how we see ourselves and others. May it dissolve the illusion of separation. And may we learn to live as jewels in Indra's net, reflecting wisdom and compassion in every direction. Thank you for listening.